Chapter 2 Part 1 Sri Siddhendra Yogi and the Story of Vichitrapuram. I, Shankar Bhatt, was recollecting the strange experiences in Maruduvamalai and continued my journey while mentally chanting the glorious name of Sri Pada Sri Vallabha. I visited many holy places on the way. I was getting food without soliciting anyone for it. This was a rare experience. I felt that the weight of any body was gradually coming down after I reached the Kadamba forest in the Pandya kingdom. This was a Shivlinga of great power in that forest. After visiting that Ishvara temple, my legs became very heavy. I rested for some time in that Shiva temple and resumed the journey. I found a hermitage nearby. A great person called Sri Siddhendra Yogi was living there. When I prostrated at his lotus feet, my body became lighter than a cotton ball. I was conscious of my body feeling, but the weight of my body had almost become nil. That great preceptor with a merciful heart stroked my head and blessed me, saying, "May you have the darshan of Sri Pada Sri Vallabha." The great yogi explained, "My son Shankar Bhatt, the Shivalinga which you have seen is very powerful in ancient times. Devendra conquered many demons, but one of them escaped. Indra ruthlessly killed that Rakshasa while he was in tapas. Indra lost his luster because of his sin in Shivling, someone doing tapas. Indra visited many holy places for absolution from the sin. As the Shivalinga in the Kadamba forest of the Pandya kingdom was very powerful, all the sins of Indra were suddenly removed. When Indra reached the Kadamba forest, he wondered at it. With the idea that there was something special and great, he searched the place in all directions. He found a Shivalinga. Indra, what you saw was that Shivalinga consecrated by Indra. That Shivalinga removes all sins and confers all auspiciousness. Only people with great merit can see that Shivalinga, however, for the devotees of Lord Datta. Meeting pious people and visiting holy places will take place unasked for and without any effort. Worship that Shivalinga with devotion and consecrated a temple for that self-manifested Shivalinga. So what you saw was that Shivalinga consecrated by Indra. I bowed again to the lotus feet of Sri Siddhendra Yogi. He asked me to go to the Shivalinga again. When I went there for the second time, I found a beautiful temple of Shiva. That was not the same temple that I visited previously. When I inquired, I learned that it was a temple of Sri Meenakshi and Sundareshwara, and that I was in the town of Madurai, the South Indian city of Madurai. I visited the deities and went to the hermitage of Sri Siddhendra Yogi afterwards. The whole area now appeared as a thickly populated township. However, I searched much, but I could not find the hermitage of the Sri Siddha Yogindra recollecting the holy name of Sri Pada Sri Vallabha. I was going at random in some direction. The sunset started, it was getting dark. I saw a focus of light coming from the rear side. When I turned back, I saw a big serpent with 3 hoods following me. There were 3 diamonds. On those 3 hoods, a brilliant light emitted from those diamonds. I was struck with fear. Whenever I stopped, the serpent was also stopping. The divine name of Sri Pada was swelling up from the depth of my bosom involuntarily. Similarly, the holy name of Sri Pada was being uttered from my mouth involuntarily. At last I reached the ashram of the Sri Siddha Yogendra. Immediately the divine serpent and the light disappeared. Sri Siddha Yogendra received me with utmost compassion. He gave me fried chickpeas in a plantain leaf as prasad. I ate bellyful. The palpitation of my heart did not decrease even though I was taking food. Sri Siddha Yogendra massaged my right breast lightly with love. Afterwards, he touched my head with his holy hand. I noticed my heart's palpitations slowing down. I also felt as if some foul gases were being pushed out of my lungs. I also experienced that all bad thoughts and cruel desires were pushed out of my mind. My body temperature increased and I was in a state of stupor. Part 2. The greatness of Datta and the qualification required for obtaining the grace of Sripada. Then Sri Siddha Yogendra stated as following: Shankar Bhatt, the Shivalinga which you saw at first, and Sri Sudereshwar whom you visited later are not different. Sri Dattatreya ordered that you should be provided with this kind of experience. So it was granted to you accordingly. It means that time was rolled back and the Shivalinga established by Indra and the actual surroundings existing at that time were shown to you. To regard the creation that you witness as real creation is Maya. Everything is an embodiment of the consciousness. By the will of Lord Datta, the future may become present. The consciousness of Lord Datta is eternally present. Whatever happened in the past and whatever is happening at present and whatever is to happen in the future will occur according to the will of Lord Datta. The resolve of Lord Datta is essential for an event to happen, not to happen or to happen in a different noble way. Sri Dattatreya is the personification of that magnificent determination responsible for the creation, sustenance and liquidation. Now he has taken birth on this earth as Sripada Shivallabha. The residents of Pithampur did not recognize him properly. They fail to understand the philosophy of a guru in Kuruvapuram. Even ignorant persons like fishermen obtain knowledge of the Brahmin. To get the grace of Sripada Srivallabha, the Ahamkara within us has to be destroyed. All types of pride have to become extinct. Then only we can understand his power, his mercy and his real nature. A merchant named Dhananjay found the Shivalinga consecrated by Indra and informed the matter to the ruler of that region called Kulashekara Pandya. Following the command of Shiva, Kulashekara Pandya developed it and built a town there. He named the town as Madhura, the Vegavati river which is born out of the matted hair of Shiva. His sanctifying Madhura town. His son Malaya Dwaja Pandya conducted a sacrifice called Putrakmeshti for obtaining progeny. From the altar of that the sacrifice, a 3-year-old baby girl emerged as one not born out of the womb. She is Meenakshi Devi. She married Sundreshwara. Mahavishnu himself participated in the ritual of offering the bride to the bridegroom and organized the divine marriage of Meenakshi and Sundreshwara on a very grand scale. Sri Siddha Yogendra had added, my son Shankar Bhatt, vibrations emanate from every article in the creation. On account of this variegated vibration, attraction and repulsion take place with other things. In the gross, subtle and mortal bodies, good vibrations due to good deeds and bad vibrations due to sinful acts arise. On account of a meritorious virtue, the desire for meeting pious persons, visiting holy places and an interest in righteous deeds will increase. Thereby the virtuous merit gets enhanced. Unless that virtue increases and sin diminishes, we cannot have a steady devotion towards Lord Datta. A variety of incidents happen owing to time, accumulated merit or demerit or other causes. You could come here only on account of Sri Vallabha's boundless compassion on you. Dhananjay the merchant who gave information to Kulashekara Pandya about the Shivalinga installed by Indra acquired great merit. As a consequence of that merit, he was born as Kusuma Srishti, the king of Brihat Silanagaram, and got Jagannatha as his daughter. Virupaksha with the Hamsa of Nandishwar was born to Kusuma Srishti couple as the brother of Ambika. Sri Lord Datta kept an Hamsa of him in Virupaksha according to the word given by her. Ambika she took birth in Brihat Silanagaram and the name Vasavi. Only Jananis know that Sri Vasavi Kanyaka Parmeshwari was Ambika herself, and that Sripada Srivallabha, the embodied Dattatreya, was Lord Narayana himself. On the full moon day in the month of Shravana, Ambika will tie a Raksha Bandhan to Sripada Srivallabha. This is a divine secret. It is not to be revealed to ordinary people. I revealed this to you only on the order of Sri Vallabha. On that day, if anyone has darshan to the deities in the temples of Ambika or in the Kshetras, he or she will get the fruit of special merit. Shiva and Shiva are not different. If anyone sees them differently, they will get the fruit of sin. On the day of Ekadashi, all sins will be tagged onto food. If one fasts on that day and gives food to a good Brahmin on the next day, one gets merit. He gets the highest merit if he fasts on Dwadashi day also and then gives food. Along with getting married, his sins will also get destroyed. If one fasts on Ekadashi, gives food to a suitable Brahmin and also takes food himself on the next day, he will get average food. He will get married, but his sins will not be destroyed. If one fasts on Ekadashi day and takes food himself on Dwadashi without also giving food to a suitable Brahmin, then he will get the lowest fruit. He will get only the minimum merit, sin will not be destroyed. In what way can I describe the speciality of the fruit of my merit? I questioned Sri Siddhendra Yogi like this: Mahaprabhu, what was the reason for Ambika to take the name of Vasavi? Whom did she give this promise and why did she become Vasavi Kaneka Parmeshwari like this? Please show grace on me and reveal this to me. Sri Siddha Yogendra smiled to my prayer and he said, My dear, I realize that you have a great interest in listening to the words related to Janana. There is a restriction: the divine secret should be revealed only to those who are inquisitive, qualified and suitable. We should not reveal this to unsuitable, argumentative people and atheists. Blaming divine secrets and divine place becomes the reason for acquiring sin. Sriman Narayan has another name, Upendra. Once Indra asked Sriman Narayan Swami, because you have the name Upendra, you have become my brother. In that case, Ambika should also become my sister. She should also have a name which reminds my name. Sriman Narayan smiled and said, Yes, your argument has a good reason. You put this question to Ambika herself. As time passed, gods killed demons and become arrogant. The time had come to destroy their pride. Ambika took the form of a yaksha. When Vayudeva reached there, the yaksha put a small blade of grass there and asked him to move it. Vayudeva could not move it. Similarly, Agni could not burn it. In this way, the gods become humiliated. But Devendra could recognize that it was not yaksha, but the Paratattvam itself. Because Devendra could recognize the Paratattvam, he became great. So he got the name of Indra. That Paratattvam took the form of Ambika. Indra praised her with many verses. Pleased with that, Ambika gave a boon to Indra that she would manifest herself in Kali Yuga in Brihat Sila Nagaram and take the name of Vasavi, which would remind Indra's name Vasava. In accordance with that boon, she manifested at Vasavi Kanyaka Parameshwari. My dear, every small incident happens in accordance with time, effect of karma and a reason. Divine place cannot be predicted, they cannot be comprehended. Before Sriman Narayan took birth to Devaki and Vasudeva, a Sri Krishna Ambika manifested as Yoga Maya. When Kamsa tried to kill her, she took to the sky with a divine form. In Sri Krishna avatar, the Lord could not get the affection of maternal uncles, but he will get the affection in the avatar of Sripada Srivallabha. If anybody worships Srivallabha thinking that he is his child, Sripada Srivallabha will be moving incognito in his house as a small child. If somebody worships Vasavi Kanyaka Parameshwari thinking that she is their child and shows affectionate devotion, she will be moving incognito as the divine child in their house. Disciples having pure hearts will hear melodiously the sound of her anklets. This is the absolute truth in Kali Yuga. There should not be any doubt. Now you take rest. Always remember the name of Sripada Srivallabha. The sins acquired in many births will be burnt out. You could come here because of the endless grace of Sripada Srivallabha on you. Thus saying, Sri Siddha Yogendra blessed me. Because I was tried, I slept deeply. I was wondering at my extreme fortune and becoming excited in my mind. I was eager to reach Karvapuram quickly and I decided not to leave the holy feet of Srivallabha. When I woke up the next morning, I was subjected to amazement and astonishment because I was lying at the base of an adumbra tree on a hillock. There was no movement of people in the surroundings. Was my stay during night in the hermitage of Sri Siddhendra Yogi merely an hallucination? Was Sri Siddhendra Yogi a cheat, a magician or a devil? Such doubts crept in my mind. The words of Sri Siddha Yogendra about Lord Sri Datta were resounding in my ear. I wondered as to what use it would be for Sripada Srivallabha to keep me in such a predicament. Many thoughts were crossing in my mind. I collected my belongings and resumed my journey. My journey continued from morning till noon. I saw a village with my small houses. The pangs of hunger increased and troubled me. I am a Brahmin and can take meals only in the house of Brahmins. I cannot take meals elsewhere. I thought of preparing the meals myself if someone provides the materials. Then I can eat such food. I got a doubt whether any Brahmins were living in the village, so I asked some villagers about it. One of them said, "Sir, we are a hill tribe. I am the chief of this hamlet. There are no Brahmins in our village. You can accept fruits and honey for us if you have no objection. There is an adage that one can behave like a low caste Shudra during travels. Therefore, I considered that it was not wrong to accept anything offered by anybody during the course of travel. They placed before me fruits and honey from the hills in those ravines. When I was about to eat, a crow came from somewhere and started picking me on my head. I tried to drive it away, but in vain. In the meanwhile, some more crows gathered. They started picking my body in all spots in a wanton manner. I was panic stricken and began to run. Those crows were chasing me. There was no one in that village who could help me. The chief of the village said, "Oh, what a strange thing. In our area, crows do not harm anyone. We wonder why these crows are so ferocious and obstinate to harm you. You must have abused or dishonored a Siddha Purusha. You are undergoing this punishment because of his curse. If we are to obstruct the course of punishment, we would have to incur the wrath of that sage. So we will not try to change the course of divine play. Please do not misunderstand." After saying this, the chief kept quiet. I could not take the fruits and honey given to me. My body became blood-stained. The crows chased and injured me even though I was running. I felt extremely sad at my dismal state. Did Sri Siddha Yogendra curse me because I doubted him? But he had blessed me that I would have the fortune of seeing Sripada Shivallabha probably. I cannot have the darshan of Lord Sri Datta unless all my sins accumulated from past births are completely destroyed. I do not know how many sinful deeds I had amassed, how many punishments like this I have to suffer if all those sins are to be washed out. Oh, are so many difficulties and dangers involved in the blessing bestowed for the darshan of Sri Vallabha? Oh God, how many punishments you still want to inflict on me? Now, who can save me? Sripada Sri Vallabha, save me? Save me, Sharno, Sharno, Sripada Sri Vallabha. With such thoughts of absolute surrender, I slowly reached the root portion of an Adambra tree. I thought that the Adambra tree, which is the residing center of Lord Sri Datta, would protect me, but the spot of Lord Sri Datta ran contrary to my hope. An unprecedented foul smell was spreading from my body. Attracted by that odious odor or by the irony of fate, big poisonous snakes were coming in a row quickly. They were biting me and leaving quickly. I was troubled by crows before. Now my entire body became poisonous because of the bites from venomous serpents. Foam was coming out from my mouth. The strength of my heart began to decline. I thought that I was sure to die at any. It was evening dusk. Some washermen were going that way. They washed, dried, and bundled the dried clothes. They kept the bundles on the backs of donkeys and were going. They noticed my miserable plight, but they hesitated to touch me for some time because I am a Brahmin. As delay might endanger my life, they regarded saving a life was of prime importance. Hence they seated me on a donkey and took me to their village. For me, all troublesome incidents were taking place in the procession on that day. The washerman took me to the colony of cobblers. One of those tanners had knowledge of medicine relating to poison. They kept me a cot, the bottom of which was laced with cords. The premises smelled badly. That cobbler physician made juice from some wild herbs. He made me drink that juice. He tied some leaves at the locations where the snakes had bitten me. He plucked some tender leaves from an Adambra tree. Juice like milk was flowing from those leaves. He kept the stems of those leaves in my 2 ears. I was getting terrible pain. I tried to get up and run away. Two strong men held me firmly. I was helpless. Physician instructed his assistant, the poison will come into the Adambara leaves. After that, you have to burn those poisonous leaves. The man will cry much louder as the poison increasingly gets transferred to the Adambara leaves, so you hold him firmly. After some time, the poison was neutralized. I became healthy. I stayed in the house of the cobbler all throughout the night. The cobbler was singing during the whole night, Datta Digambara, Sri Padavallabha, Datta Digambara. I was lying on the cot. My heart swelled on hearing the extremely melodious names of the Lord. My love for the cobbler enhanced because he became my co-disciple of our Guru due to the spiritual relationship. In the next moment, I was pained with the realization that I was born in a superior Brahmin caste and that he was a low caste cobbler.